dog lay down in front of its owner's portrait, and no one could get close to it. This vicious dog was locked up in prison, and no one dared to approach it. A veteran wanted to try to tame it. As soon as he got close, dog became alert and ready to attack at any moment. Carl slowly knelt down and carefully touched the dog. When it didn't react, Carl breathed a sigh of relief, but the next second... In fact, it was a military dog that had become so aggressive after its owner was killed in an accident. To prevent it from harming others, the military decided to euthanize the dog after it attended its owner's funeral. This task was assigned to Carl. After packing his belongings, Carl immediately left the military camp with the dog. On the way, the dog became agitated again. Carl kept trying to calm it down. The dog couldn't calm down and frantically scratched at the cage. One night, a sudden downpour struck, and the car broke down and couldn't start. Carl had no choice but to walk with the dog. Fortunately, they found a warehouse where they could stay for the night. But at that moment, the thunder startled Carl, and the dog's reaction was even more intense. The thunder made him think he was back on the battlefield, and the dog began to bark wildly, searching for enemies. Carl hurried to calm him down, but the dog grew increasingly agitated and even bit Carl. Carl scolded the dog loudly. The dog had never seen Carl so angry and was startled into stillness. Seeing the dog calm down, Carl turned and went outside to stand in the rain to cool off. Watching Carl's helpless figure, the dog's eyes were filled with guilt and remorse. After a while, Carl composed himself and returned to the dog's side to tell him the story of his owner, and the dog listened quietly by his side. The next day, Carl took the dog to the roadside to try to flag down a car, but no one stopped. They had no choice but to continue walking to the funeral site. After walking for a long time, the dog was exhausted and collapsed on the ground. Carl had no choice but to carry him and continue walking. After an unknown amount of time, they finally arrived at the funeral site. Carl dressed the dog in its gear and led it slowly toward the owner's grave. The dog seemed to sense his master's presence and quickly ran to his master's boots and lay down beside them. As a military dog, he knew his master was dead. The lingering scent brought him a long-lost sense of peace and tranquility. After the funeral, Carl received a call from his superior, who ordered him to take the dog back to the military camp for euthanasia. Carl kept explaining to his superior that the dog was no longer aggressive, but his superior didn't believe him and ordered him to carry out the command immediately. Back at the military camp, Carl reluctantly bid farewell to the dog and personally put a muzzle on it. The soldiers led it away. Just as Carl was about to leave, the dog suddenly struggled violently and barked at him repeatedly, as if begging him to save it.